comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me, as always, is Ben Slinger.
Hello. How are you?
Not bad.
Good.
Still feeling pretty good from our stream the other night.
Oh,
our
yeah.
first ever stream.
We did a little VR stream. It was fun. Nobody watched it. No, some people did.
I saw that there was
friends.
like 24 views.
Yeah, there you go. It was fun. I have to do some more of that sometime.
Mm-hmm. Well, you need to organise your VR headset so that we can bring that over here, and I can try out the Vive for the first time.
We can get some multiplayer going then, man. That'd be sweet.
One room, I'm the other.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's get into it. We'll do some click pitch. Later on, we may or may not do some other stuff. We're just going to keep it breezy tonight, I think. And, yeah. So, click pitch. For those who are just joining us, click pitch is a game where we both take a random word generator. On the count of 3, 2, 1, we click refresh, get a new word, and we turn the combination of those words into a game design.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's click pitch. 3, 2, 1, click.
Shrine.
Blot.
Okay. Shrine and blot. So my first thought goes to some sort of sun worshipping society.
Okay.
And then there's some sort of opposing faction which is trying to blot out the sun in some
Alan
way.
Mr. Burns.
Yeah, exactly. A big, what was it? He had a mirror.
It was just a big, cover.
Yeah.
Just sort of happened to be the
Blocked out
exact size.
Yeah. So,
Who do you play?
well, I don't know. Is it perhaps a multiplayer sort of situation where one person plays the sun worshippers and one person plays the sun blotters?
Or is it like a massively multiplayer game where one faction is the...
Oh, that could be cool because you could demonstrate within the game world which faction is currently winning by literally the sun in the sky, how covered it is or how blotted out it is.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone in the world can see it at all times. Well, I mean, unless they're simulating a globe, but if it's a single sort of landmass that has the sun shining on it all at one time, you can tell.
Well, I'd like to see some day-night cycles so that you can have some nighttime espionage missions and.
Well, what could be
stuff
cool
like that.
about the day-night cycles is you when the sun comes up the next morning, there's a sense of anticipation as to how your nighttime raids have gone and sort of pushed the tide of the battle. So the sun dudes. That's the faction name. The Sun Dudes. They organize, these nighttime espionage things to cripple the supplies of the night sitters.
God.
Come on, you can help.
I'm just letting you dig that grave.
Yeah.
Dig
Maybe
up.
we'll call them the grave diggers. Night sitters. That's it. I'm sticking with it.
Yep. Night sitters.
So they've done these missions to cut off their supplies, but they don't know how well they've gone, or the rest of the faction doesn't know how well they've gone. They've sent off their raid teams. They haven't come back yet, and the sun's coming up, and they're desperately waiting to see, that they've pushed back the blotting out of the sun by 10% or something.
So I'm thinking at nighttime you've got the... Yes, I like the idea of, the sun... What did you say they were? Sun
dudes.
Sun dudes. Them raiding the other people's camps and trying to sabotage. But maybe you've also got the night sitters who are also out scavenging for more materials, but they can only do it at night.
Well, yeah, I think maybe the night sitters are more powerful at night and the sun dudes are more powerful during the day. So it's actually a really risky it's a really risky mission for the sun dudes to go in at night, but also perhaps it's like they're more vulnerable, like their buildings or something, or their I don't know, or there's just more value to be gained from doing it at night.
Yeah, like it's a risk versus reward.
Exactly,
so,
it's going to be more dangerous, but you're gonna get more
but the rewards
out
are
of it.
bigger.
Yeah.
Whereas if you try to do some of these things during the day, you're easily spotted and that sort of stuff.
Well, yeah, but if the sun dudes are out during the day, like, then they've got the advantage. But I don't know, because the night sitters are holed up during the day a bit more. I don't know, you don't get as much out of it or something. I don't know, that doesn't even make sense. But you know where I'm getting at.
Yeah, you've got a each one is more powerful in their own time.
Yes. Hence the desire to. Well, so does that mean though that are the sun dudes then trying to prevent night? Because the night sitters are trying to blot out the sun and have permanent night. Are the sun dudes trying to like? Do they just like create lots of artificial light or something at night? Like, what are they trying to? Are they trying to create a second sun that just like follows the other one around? It's like on the other side of the world of the original sun at any point
on
in
a
time.
polar opposite sort of thing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's just continuously moving.
Well, wait, that doesn't make sense because the Earth revolves around the sun. The sun doesn't revolve around the Earth.
Yeah,
But maybe they're trying to create a sun, like
second sun.
a mini sun that does revolve around the Earth, counteracting the nighttime.
all they're trying to do is create another, basically a binary star system, so that you've got the two suns like at directly opposite points compared to the Earth,
Right.
And
Where's the Earth? It's always just right in the center.
it just happens that it's in a synchronous orbit with the other sun, because the smaller sun is
Right. Okay. I'm sure we could pull out fucking universe simulator or whatever it is and map this out, but it doesn't really matter. It's more the idea of the thing.
It's a game. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So
it's magic.
they're trying to create a magic sun. Yeah, I mean, because how and I mean, the answer might just be magic, but how are the night sitters trying to blot out the sun as well? Are they firing like inky black clouds into the sky to cover the Earth? Are they like doing a Mr. Burns style giant cover that follows the path of the sun at all times?
Yeah, I don't think the giant cover is going to actually work. But I kind of like the idea.
Or they could be like
of,
trying to launch a mirror into space that like literally is large enough to reflect all sunlight away from the planet.
all they're trying to do is create a massive Dyson sphere.
Oh, yeah, okay. They're just trying to build around. Well, a Dyson sphere around the sun, or they're trying to build something around the Earth, like a structure around the Earth to block out the sun.
I'm thinking that maybe because there's not so much space travel in this, that it's around the Earth.
Okay, yeah.
It's about like 1 kilometer above
They're basically
the Earth.
just trying to, build a shell, an Earth shell.
Yep. So a mini Dyson sphere.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
That's kind of cool. So is it just like traditional MMO then? After that, you just group up and raid the bad guys. It's more just the meta game of and the lore behind it.
I kind of like the idea of it being like a third person actiony sort of massively multiplayer game, rather than the typical World of Warcraft 50 billion button
Right.
sort of point and click.
Yeah.
I'd rather some skill actually come into it with the actual fighting and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I like that too. I think it's really hard to balance, but we don't give a shit because we're just coming up with the ideas.
Yeah.
Latency, what's that?
Balance? Don't need balance.
No. It's all in the idea, man.
Just move the really good people onto their own server. Okay.
All right.
3 Javon click.
Yeah. Waterway.
Rendezvous.
Okay. Rendezvous. So it could be some sort of like river navigation mechanic around traversing some area.
Well, my mind has gone to sort of Venice.
Okay. So
And
a floating city of sorts.
yes, something along the lines of, you're your character comes to Venice for a rendezvous with a mysterious person who's been contacting them, and just sort of like the hijinks that sort of happen within this watered city.
Venice is known for its hijinks.
In this case, definitely. I'm thinking spy sort of thriller, except you're not the spy. You're the you're like the companion to the spy.
So
the
like
Bond
that
girl, if it is, if as it were.
That typical sort of. Well, I'm thinking like the sort of hapless companion who gets brought along on the spy's kind of adventure.
Yeah.
But ends up saving the day and, finding the strength within themselves to be
By bumbling all the way.
Yeah, to be confident by the end. All right. Well, let's come up with some characters. This sounds like obviously a bit of a narrative sort of thing. Let's just map out the story and some characters. So, let's start with the spy. What sort of archetype are we going for here, and how can we subvert it in some way so that we're not being boring?
So I'm thinking it is a female spy.
It's a good start.
I don't know why, but I'm sort of leaning in the way of maybe both the spy and the protagonist are both female.
I was about to suggest that very same thing, actually, because it's such a trap to fall into that, like, oh, well, there has to be a man involved. No, yeah, I agree. I think that would be a really interesting pairing that is ridiculous that it hasn't been done very much.
And it doesn't have to be, it can be a love story, but it doesn't have to be a love story. It can just be, for once, this happens to be, two females, one who is a spy and one who happens to be,
yeah. Now, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Are we talking about The Heat starring Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock? And I mean, not that every like buddy cop style thing starring two women, like there can be more than one, obviously. But yeah. I just thought of that, and anyway, I just looked it up, and they're both cops in that. So no, it's not quite the same. This is a bit different.
No, I'm seeing it as. I know. I'm not sure whether it's going to be like British MI6.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it like James Bondish? Maybe it's fucking ASIO.
Well, actually, I was thinking that the spy could actually be Russian.
All right, Russian spy. What's her name?
Anna
Petrovic. Is that a thing? All right.
Oh.
Yeah, sure. No, Petrovic
or Popov
is more Croatian.
Okay.
Well, all right, there's someone.
Smirnov.
Smirnov. There you go. Perfect. Anna Smirnov. And then the hapless companion. Let's start with, why is she in Venice? Like, what is she there on business? Is she visiting an ex-lover?
So I think this is, I don't know, with the rendezvous, I mean, what part's going to be the rendezvous, you reckon? Just the fact that they happen to meet up?
I mean, I think we can just take people meet there in Venice. I think we've got enough of people meet in Venice from Rendezvous or Waterway. We'll just take it from there. So let's just sort of determine why she's there and who she is, and then how to make a game out of it.
Well, I'm picturing that she's maybe going on a European vacation, and right. This just happens to be the final stop. She's always wanted to see Venice.
Okay,
and when she gets to the hotel, there's a note saying for her to meet somewhere at, say, 1 p.m. on some bridge.
All right. So, what sort of personality are we thinking? Is she kind of live life to the fullest, like she's off on a Kentucky tour sort of thing, or is she backpacking? Or okay, so she's like maybe a bit shallow, even. Like, and I mean, this kind of goes into the archetype of that sidekick character that they're not as worldly kind of thing, but we can do that. So she's sort of a bit ditzy, maybe.
Yeah, I don't want the typical blonde or Real Housewife or something like that.
No, I just mean
obsessed about her own looks.
I just mean a little bit conceited, but not to the full sort of stereotypical extreme. I guess it's just, she's just traveling for herself and she doesn't think much about the world in general, and she's privileged enough to be able to do so. Mm-hmm. And then she comes across this Russian spy fucking KGB or whatever. Is KGB still around?
It is in this universe.
Okay.
So this protagonist, whatever her name is.
Yeah. So do we play? Where is she from? Is she Australian? Let's make her
That's
Australian.
what I was about to say. Where's she from? I'm thinking either Australian or Canadian.
Okay.
They're my two sort of choices at the moment.
I feel like there's just not enough.
Really
There's not enough
American.
Australian protagonists of games. So let's just go with Australian.
Yep.
So her name is. I'm actually not good at just coming up with like stupid names, particularly Australian names. I don't know. Naomi
Smith.
Naomi Boomerang. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Naomi. That's fine.
I mean, if you really want to go the an Australian name, Kylie.
Kylie. All right.
Because that is about as Australian as you can go for a first name.
Yeah, that does come off as pretty Australian. All right. Her name is Kylie Minogue. That's what came up when I typed in Kylie Australian. She's a Kylie Minogue type. Kylie Shinove. No, I don't know. This is going on way too long trying to come up with this name.
Yep.
Kylie. It's fine. Let's just say Kylie. Forget her last name. Doesn't matter. So, Kylie is there. So she's there with a group, but maybe she's like... She went back to the hotel room because she forgot her bag. She finds this.
Okay.
She finds this mysterious note there.
After having... When she goes into a hotel room, the whole place is being ransacked, and there's like a note on the door.
Yeah, and it says like, bring the key. Like, meet me at this intersection under the fucking bridge. Bring the key.
Oh, so in order to get there, you have to actually be in one of the gondolas.
Yes. Take the gondola under the bridge at this time. Bring the key. And she's like, what the fuck? She doesn't know what
key.
What key? What's going on? Do you have the choice to... So this is all the opening kind of cinematic up to this point. What sort of game are we thinking? Is this like a Heavy Rain-esque kind of, adventure sort of hit the buttons at the right time? Is this more of a third person, I don't know, almost like a open world kind of thing? Open world in Venice could be cool.
I was thinking sort of a cross between an open world and the game No One Lives Forever.
I fucking love that game.
Yeah.
So you just mean in the... Wait, so it's a first-person shooter?
So I was thinking in the way of the styling of the 1960s sort of spy thriller.
Okay. But is it set in more modern day, or is it set in the 60s?
It can be set anywhere. I mean, how long can Tiki 2 has been around for?
I don't know.
And I'm seeing open world, some missions that sort of occur. Maybe at the start you're sort of having a few like meetings with this KGB spy, but then after you come back to your hotel room again after this first meeting, the KGB spy actually saves your life from like the real bad guys.
So I'm assuming it's some sort of mistaken identity thing, right? Like, she's gets wrapped up in this situation. First, Anna Smirnov thinks that she's some other spy, I guess. Is it just like there was another spy named Kylie staying at the fucking hotel at the same time?
I think that she thinks that Kylie's a fake name. It's an obvious fake name.
It's so fake. It sounds so fake that it's got to be. Yeah, she's got to be a spy. She's got to be the one they're looking
Smith
for.
is the most fake name that ever heard.
Yeah. And just completely overlooked the actual spy. So who's the antagonist in this? Who is sort of the person that... Well, wait, because did Anna then... So Anna sent her the message thinking she's this other spy, so is the other spy then like trying to do something...
The antagonist,
good?
I think.
Or, well, why would... Right, so there was more of a threat, and then when Kylie showed up, she was like, what the fuck, you're not a spy or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a fight scene... Maybe like the opening cinematic is all this stuff up until the point that you Like, up until the point where your friends go off and you go, oh crap, I forgot my bag. And then it gives you control of the character. And I'm thinking almost like Grand Theft Auto sort of style graphics and stuff. And
Cool.
and way of walking around. Or like Hitman or something. I don't know. There's just that sort of over the shoulder. There's just stuff going on. And you start following your markers, your mission markers. And it's like, go back up to your room. You get in your room. It's been ransacked. You find the note. And then you literally have to like find your way to this intersection. So you have to bring up your map. Maybe you have to find a map. Like, and this is all tutorial stuff. It's introducing you to the controls and your map screen. You book a gondola that's going under that bridge. And then when you go under that bridge, she like drops down and tackles you. And you get like, I don't know, quick time events or something to stop her from beating the shit out of you.
You know what I'm picturing, that, you know, she's looking, you know, off in the distance, and you see very silently behind you, like, Anna just dropped down, knocked the gondola guy into the water. And is just controlling the gondola from now on.
Yeah. All right. And then there's a conversation tree or something happens there, and you get some exposition.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that, like, the antagonist of the story is this other spy.
Yeah.
But the actual antagonist of the entire world is actually the protagonist and the Russian spy. So
what the fuck does that mean?
So if there was a good or bad,
you're saying they're actually sort of
groups
doing things that are evil.
Anna's actually trying to bring down, you know, the good guys,
right,
as it were.
Yeah,
but
I mean that's a generally simplistic view of any of the world in general. But you just mean she's doing something for like some, I mean,
selfish reasons, rather than
or
the
just like
good.
a government that is like mistreating its citizens and declaring war on its neighbors and stuff. I mean, Russia, they're not the greatest.
Yeah, so I'm seeing it as that sort of, you know, not exactly a moral
and so then
choice.
Kylie has this sort of these choices to be made maybe later in the game. You know, the first third of the game. Well, I'm thinking it'd be actually really interesting that like you're still in control of her a lot, and you know these gun battles and stuff break out, but she doesn't know how to fire a gun, or she doesn't have a gun, and so it's really a lot of avoiding and kind of hiding under cover, maybe doing things to help Anna. You know, you have to like throw clips at her so she can reload and stuff. But then, you know, not very. It doesn't take long before she's like, "Oh, you need to be able to protect yourself," and like gives you a weapon. But you just shit with it at the beginning. You build up your skills over time. Yeah,
and like maybe one of Anna's key things is that we don't actually kill anyone. It's all about just, you know,
disabling them.
Doing what we have to disable people.
That'd be interesting in a game, because so many games, obviously, you know, all the Grand Theft Auto and Watch Dogs and whatever, those style of games, you do end up just killing people.
Yeah. So it's actually all about... So it
actually penalizes you. You just, like, shoot them in the legs or knock things... Yeah. Like, shoot something next to them that knocks them out kind of thing. Like... You know, you shoot.
Yeah. So the occasional thing. Yeah. So the occasional thing that's going to happen is, you know, you're going to have only sort of kill shots that you can sort of go for, like a headshot or something like that. Yeah. And so you got to wait just a little bit longer so that you can maim the person and not.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. What happened? Is it game over if you kill someone, or you just get penalized?
I think you could have like a one of those sort of. Sands of, you know, Prince of Persia Sands of Time sort of story things where, hang on, that's not how it happened, and it just rewinds a bit.
Right.
Because I think maybe it's Kylie telling the story. Her story to like the granddaughter or something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like the idea of. Well, I kind of like the idea of if you are pointing at someone, and this is maybe a bit complicated, I don't know, but if you're like aiming at someone's head and you pull the trigger, then Anna like knocks the gun away and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing? You can't shoot them. You can't kill them." But then I don't know. You can't be next to her at all times. She like shoots the gun out of your hands if she's far away. To go pick it up again.
Or it just literally has, like, I've put special technology into this gun. If you try to shoot it, if it detects that it's going to
be fatal,
hit someone in the head, it'll be fatal, then it'll actually stop it from shooting.
No, I like the idea that you can make the choice to fire, and I don't know. Yeah, anyway, you can come up with something.
And then maybe you get reprimanded by Anna.
Get fucking arrested. You just murdered someone.
Or you know, it could be one of these branching stories that you kill too many people, and she just goes, "You're on your own."
You're on your own. Yeah, yeah, that could be good. Actually, there could be a point, and she could be foreshadowing it throughout. Obviously, if you do kill someone, she's like, "What the fuck? Like, you're supposed to be this this like mild mannered party girl from Australia, and you're just shooting people in the head. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna I'm not going to help you if you keep doing this. But if you keep doing it, yeah, it literally gets to a point where she's like, nah, you're too much of a liability. She just drops you, like, locks you in a building or something as she leaves, and then the rest of the game is, like, trying to track her back down again.
Oh, I'm just imagining, you know, the turn that happens, and you've gone in together, she knocks you out, takes all your weapons, and just leaves you locked up in this building, and you got to escape as all the as she's alerted, like, the police to your position.
Yeah, but then by then she's taught you too well. You can, like, escape and track her down. Now who's the spy? Anna, now who's the spy? It's Kylie.
I quite like this.
Really cool.
Okay, let's click again.
Yeah, I guess we'll leave it there.
3, 2, 1, click.
Inflammable.
Recapture.
Recapture?
Yep.
So you're a robot trying to prove that you're a human on a website. And if you fail, then you catch on fire.
Oh god! And you're behind like a
firewall,
and that's where the inflammable part comes in. Okay, I kind of like this idea of the recapture.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So inflammable. I like the idea of the firewall as well.
I mean, we could just do that. We can do whatever we want with these words. So if we want to make it about a robot trying to hack into things, then we can. I really like the idea that, like, you're trying to, it's like a hacking sim, like an uplink style hacking sim or whatever, and everything is just super easy until you get to a website with a recapture on it, and it's just like, it's all blurred and they're moving all the time, and like they're just morphing into different things. You literally just have no way of doing it.
Okay, so
maybe you're a robot trying to become human. So it's maybe not hacking. Maybe it's not hacking, but maybe it's that you are a robot and there are certain things that are impassable, literally because there is just a capture in the way. Like, that's how they keep the robots out.
So during the game, there's a whole heap of mini games, and they're all just like the recapture mini games. Like, you've got this, like, really
point at all the, like,
photo.
click on all the cats. You know, tell me the combination of words and letters. I don't know. What are other ones?
Okay, so I'm picturing like a Tron-like universe.
Okay.
Again, I'm thinking it's going to be like action-y, adventure-y within this universe.
I'd like to see a Tron-like, I'd like to see a universe that's Tron-like in that it's set inside the computer, but it's not all sort of futuristic neon and stuff and wireframe. It's more like, I don't know, I'm kind of getting, and this doesn't actually make sense with the capture stuff because that's more modern. But like, I feel like it should be the aesthetic of old 80s desktop PCs.
Okay.
Like CRT screens, like CGA CRT screens, floppy disks, you know, lots of big chunky sort of circuit boards and motherboards.
Big chunky circuit boards, motherboards, but like the most realistic graphics that you've ever seen.
Well,
with a really shitty color palette.
it's metaphorical. It doesn't the graphics themselves don't have to represent the time, like the computing power of the time. But yeah, whenever you interact with a screen in game, it's like those old DOS-based menu systems.
Yeah, but I'm trying to see how the firewall would actually come into that, because there's no...
I mean...
maybe
it's an alternate universe where the internet... I mean, the internet was sort of around. Maybe it's BBSs. I guess they didn't have firewalls so much. I'm just trying to think of a different aesthetic than Neon Tron.
Okay, so it's Windows 95 like aesthetic.
Okay,
so
all right.
So it's everything's still kind of blocky. It doesn't have that nice rounded feel that we've got
some
now.
people still do only have like 256 color VGA monitors.
So all the mice in the game are those really dodgy, like old 3-button mice that don't have like a scroll wheel.
Yeah.
So the middle mouse button just does nothing.
Yeah.
And like all the ports are like PS2 and like
serial
and
parallel ports. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm imagining
all the networking is like over what do you call it? Coax.
Over the
coaxial cables.
with Terminators.
We have to put the
Terminators
Terminators on the end. Well, the Terminators are characters in the game.
They're just based on Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Guess what? You forgot the Terminator. That's why your network isn't working.
Well, now I'm picturing that the network is actually like this massive train system.
Yeah.
And so you got like in like one section you got like a token ring.
Yep.
So it just goes around in a circle, so it doesn't actually have the Terminators. And maybe that's early on. Then you've got sort of like
then it opens up
the train system that has like the Terminators at each end, and any time that you see one of these Terminators, it's always the same sort of guy, but the conversation almost starts over again.
Right. So you get to the end of the train line, and there's this guy there, and he looks like Arnie,
and he looks like the guy that was at the other end of the train.
Yeah, of course.
And so you go to continue the conversation. He goes, "I've never talked to you before."
So what's the? So we've kind of gone a little bit off track, but yeah, I like keeping that aesthetic. So maybe you play a virus or something then, or like some sort of software, I guess, in this case.
So I'm picturing that it's actually like the internet has just come to town.
All right, is the internet a character then? That sounds cool. I don't think you meant that, but... Or maybe it's that, like... Yeah, okay, the internet's just been connected, and so all these new people have come into your town. It's kind of like...
Yeah,
it's almost a bit of a like Wild West feel of the...
International airport has sort of been set up in town, sort of thing.
In this tiny little town. It'd be the equivalent of this tiny little town.
Yeah.
And suddenly all these strange folk have come in. Yeah, okay, that's a good setup. I like that.
And the main thing that has sort of been set up in between, like... This town and this massive airport is like this massive big black wall that they call the firewall,
right.
And it's all about recapturing the like being able to take back the town and sort of bring it back to what you remembered as a kid.
Okay, so
I'm taking it as not the recapture thing that we were talking about before anymore.
That's fine.
But I kind of like this idea of the Tron-like universe, except it's
and this is going to take us even further off track, and maybe we won't go with it. But something about me actually wants to make this like a city builder style game, or like a strategy kind of thing, where you're actually looking at like a top down view of this town, and you're sort of managing the town, trying to handle this new situation with the internet coming in, and the way your town grows and stuff.
You so have to be like, in order to do that sort of thing, you got to go to like the local terminal, which is just like a Windows 95 interface, and it's one of those isometric views. Okay. So it's on that 45-degree angle, and it's just that really annoying view that you never really wanted to play a game in, but it's just that particular.
Well, you don't know if pressing up is going to send you like diagonal left up or diagonal right up, because it depends sort of which way they. Okay. So wait, are you playing a character then? Are you playing like the mayor of this town?
I think you're playing a character, and one of the things that
little Jimmy Windows,
is you can actually kind of like how in Fallout 4 it was like the base building aspect was one part of this larger game.
Okay.
I kind of like that idea of, you can focus on that if you want to, or you can focus on the story element of trying to do.
So is it about, so is the narrative side of it then like figuring out even what this firewall is and where these people are coming from and what the fuck's going on to your little backwater town?
I think so. And maybe, if you sort of take on the role of mayor of this town, you've got to actually put up defenses for viruses that are coming into town and all this sort of stuff. And because you like the firewall, as you start to bring it down, more attacks start happening and that sort of stuff. So maybe it's a game where you're trying to get a good balance of being able to access the outside world, but
fend off
also
attacks.
But also not allowing, attacks to come through.
I like this idea of like you want to go and buy upgrades for your town, so you have to go to the terminal and you warp into this world where, like everything is in that isometric view, but it's like you're walking around in like Windows 95 Windows. And like occasionally you have to dodge some fucking Minesweeper mines and like solitaire cards. Internet Explorer is the big villain.
Space Cadet Pinball.
Yeah, exactly. The fucking pinball game thing. Yeah. All those old classic Windows games.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. I'm not sure we can take that any further. I mean, we could riff on it a bit more, but I think we get the gist. That's fun. I'm surprised we got there from fucking Inflammable and Recapture, but anyway.
That's the best thing.
That's the best type of game. Yeah.
You take that idea.
Yeah.
I'd like to actually talk a little bit about our new Facebook page.
Yeah. All right.
So Ben set up a Facebook group a little while ago.
A couple of weeks ago.
And basically it's for you, the listener, to have a place that you can interact with us and you can play. Every week we do a listener click pitch. This week there were some unusual words that were chosen. Weather, as in the weather outside, and yelled. So we had some pretty cool responses from that.
We had some good ideas. I was amused that both Michael from Reset and Andrew from the Inconsolables both posted the picture of Grandpa Simpson, old man yelling at a cloud.
And if they didn't, then I would have, because I was also going to do that.
But yeah, we thought we'd maybe just talk about some of the good ideas that came up there, and I don't know if it grabs us, maybe even expand on some of them a bit.
Yeah, so we're not going to do this all the time.
No, just when there's good ones.
there just happen to be like a couple of good ones. Like we're going to mainly talk about our own.
Well, I did like where the thread with Andrew from the Inconsolables went, where you're basically yelling into your microphone to create weather effects. I just really like the idea.
Lightning!
Yeah, you literally have to just yell fucking rainstorm, and the louder it is, the more powerful it is. So you're just making them just get completely hoarse.
Yeah. So your game was rather interesting. It was a what was it? A base building game inside of an old man's mouth.
Yep.
who is what, yelling or getting angry?
Yeah, so basically my thought was like when he yells, like the wind blows in your town. That was kind of where that came from. Yeah, I guess I'm on a bit of a base building kick, but I kind of like the idea that you just, you're creating this little town in the valley between, two of his molars. It's like mining for enamel or something. So you're actually like the little bacteria. Maybe, yeah.
In like a guy's mouth.
Yeah, but I still just pictured them as little people. Like I don't think we should go full on like It just so happens that they're bacteria, and their names can maybe be typical tooth bacteria. Yeah, sure.
But now I'm just picturing like one part of the game, he see the old man happens to see like a kebab shop.
Okay.
And so he starts salivating.
Yeah.
Because he really wants that kebab. And then, you got the flood sort of happening in town and all that sort of stuff.
And I kind of feel like the time outside is actually going a bit more slowly. So you've got some time to react to these things.
Oh, yeah.
So, you'll get a report as that it's like, all right, he's yawning. Send out the scouts, so we know what's coming. And they come back from their scouting trip along the mountain range of his teeth to the front of his lips, where they can see properly. And it's like, oh shit, okay, there's a kebab shop coming up on the right. If he sees it, we better be prepared for saliva floods. They report this back. You got to make sure that they get back in time. Which teeth you choose to build on, it plays a big part in, how long it takes for your scouts to get back and what sort of food's going to get stuck in between them that you can then use as resources.
Now, if you go too deep into the teeth, I'm now picturing you got the teeth mines.
Yep.
That you can mine for whatever goodness is in there.
Yep.
But if you go too deep into the teeth mines, then
then you might go to the dentist.
The dentist happens,
yeah,
and
you could lose
the dentist
you could lose
is
half your town because he just takes out a tooth or fills your mine in.
Yeah, I'm now picturing in this town that.
Sorry, I just love the idea that you get a report back from your scouts that there's that he's heading into the dentist. It's like, oh shit, we've got to batten down the hatches because the suction's going to be coming. Put everything that's not nailed down inside. You've got to, and then make sure nobody's in the mine because it's likely it's about to get filled in.
And now I'm also picturing this guy just has really, really bad teeth hygiene.
Dental hygiene.
So dental hygiene. So he's not brushing his teeth. He's not flossing. He's not using Listerine or anything like that.
Yeah.
So if you can work well to not hurt him at all,
then you can keep your town
If you hurt
going.
him, then
he's going to get his teeth
If you try to
clean
go too deep into the teeth mine, then you're going to cause this dentist thing to happen because he doesn't want to be in pain anymore.
We hit nerves.
I'm just picturing how awesome they could actually look in there now. Now, I believe that you said something about the more technology that you have, the more you can sort of hijack his nerves or something to take over his brain.
Yeah, that's it. So you build, you research your tech tree and you send your little mind control tendrils into his brain and then you can start affecting his behavior. So then you've got control over, maybe it's worth going through the saliva floods of him going to that kebab shop because if you can get him to buy a chicken kebab, then you're really short on, I don't know, charcoal or something. The meat that gets caught in the teeth then becomes resources for you or something.
Yeah. Now I'm picturing if you want to cut into the
maybe
into the teeth a little bit quicker, you've got to try and get him to really want Coca-Cola. So that you can really rot away those teeth.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You can widen it up a bit.
Yeah, it helps you mine. I'm just thinking maybe you can harvest the garlic essence from the air. This is coming back from last week with the garlic breath. But yeah, so again, the kebab's going to help there. He's going to have garlic breath for a day or two. And you've got your little wind farms.
You got to be very careful with the hot chili sauce because it's like acid. So it can kill some of your bacteria, guys.
I really like this idea. That's really cool.
Yeah. So the other idea I wanted to talk about is one that
your idea.
I suppose I've been thinking about this since you put it up last night. I was trying to come up with something that is not taking the typical yelling and weather sort of direction that everyone else was going.
Yep.
So I went with a VR game,
of course,
because I've got the VR system
on the brain.
So I'm VR crazy at the moment. But it's basically a game where you play a weatherman.
A weather reporter of some sort.
Now, I'm not sure whether everyone knows this, but when you see the weatherman on screen and they're reacting to something happening behind them, they're actually playing on a green screen.
Yeah.
So
and I think generally they have a screen off to the side.
Screen. So they've got a screen just off to the side that they can actually see where they're pointing.
Yeah.
So I thought this could actually be, kind of a fun use of
VR.
Of like VR, having to interact with a green screen while looking at a monitor to see where your hands actually are in the monitor.
Yeah.
And then you took it one step further.
Yeah, just that it doesn't just have to be weather reporting. You could do any sort of news reporting. Because again, news anchors sort of often have to, if not react to, just be aware of, graphical overlays and different things. I mean, I think the working in front of a green screen thing is the most kind of interesting about this idea. But yeah, you could do a few different things with it. And I like the idea that you're judged sort of based on how much eye contact you make with the camera. Like, you can't be constantly staring at the screen that's showing you what you're pointing at. You have to get good at looking into the camera, but pointing at the right spot.
So I think also what this can actually sort of be is that, sure, you're not going to want to actually be doing the talking yourself about boring weather phenomena.
No.
But you've got to sort of,
you have to react to kind of,
you've got the teleprompter there, and it's sort of saying approximately where you are. You can sort of see as your character is reading through the list what you should be pointing at what time. Yeah. So you've got a few different things to be worried about. You're trying to keep eye contact with the camera. You're trying to see where your hand is, and do the proper actions. And if you don't do it right, then your boss comes and yells at you.
Yeah, that's where yelling comes in.
That's where yelling comes in.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that idea. I feel like it'd be an interesting challenge. I like that there's a lot of character customization that you could do here, because you're going to be looking at your character constantly. You'd obviously have to do sort of the thing that's becoming standard of tracking an actual character that's driven by inverse kinematics based on your head and arms. But that can work quite well.
Definitely can.
And
one of the other gameplay elements I was actually thinking about was, you're a newsreader, and you know how they always seem to play with their paper on the on the on the table.
Straighten
so I'm
out,
just picturing that they can fan it out with your hands, and then find the next piece and get it back in order, and then sort of pick it up with both hands and tap it down, and you've got certain things that you got to do with your hands, and maybe you've got
well, again, you sort of maybe you got to interact with a co-anchor. Sorry, what was that?
Maybe you got pen tricks that you can do as well, like certain little, because I sometimes see newsreaders and they've got like a pen in their hand.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining, one of them starts flicking the pen around and all this sort of stuff. You could actually have fun with a character.
Yeah, I think it is a bit more challenging for the traditional news anchor, but there could be something there in just like having to pass off to your co-anchor and having to like go out to an ad break and having to, I don't know, maybe you could even do like a talk show sort of thing. I don't know. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff there. As long as you've got the choice to customize your character to the point that they're not wearing pants under the desk, I'm happy.
I think that's just the default. you look down and you see hairy leg.
Yeah. Woman or not. We all know newsreaders don't shave their legs.
Oh.
Well, that was good. I was pleased with some of the suggestions we got this week, and that idea is going to be up there until this episode's released. So what I was going to say, so go and put some more on there, but like, you're not going to hear this until this episode's released. So by the time you hear this, there's probably a new suggestion up there. So go to the Bitstorm Click Pitch and Discussion group. You can find it from our Facebook page, our Bitstorm Facebook page. And I'll post a link in there when I put up, this week's, listener click pitch. So give us some ideas. Come and play with us.
Come play with us. I reckon we can do one more click pitch and then we'll just call it a night.
All right.
3,
2,
1.
click. Whir. WHIR. Like something whirring.
Parole.
Parole.
Yes.
Okay.
So, whir and parole. So should it be maybe it can be like a Papers, Please-like game where you play a parole officer.
Okay.
And you have to make decisions based on the ex-con that you've got on your books.
All right. Or maybe you've got a few of them, right? Like, so you've got your kind of...
Yeah. A parole officer isn't going to have one con.
Well, I thought you said the ex-con. Okay. Did you say plural? All right.
Ex-cons.
All right. That's fine.
I'm just now imagining that for every con,
for every person released from prison,
they have one parole officer.
They just live with them. They just become a roommate.
I can sort of see this as, a sort of a yes, a Papers, Please sort of thing, but you can have different story elements, and maybe you do actually sort of get dragged into these
people's lives,
prisoners.
Yeah, well, you could be quite. I mean, I'd want to be quite compassionate about this, and obviously create some depth within these people's lives who have been released from prison, and most of them were probably in prison for a good reason. Some of them were probably in prison for a shitty reason. Some of them might have even been in prison for something they didn't do. Part of the job is, obviously part of the job is making sure they don't do things that could put them back in prison, or that they're not supposed to do while on parole. But there might be decisions around, giving leeway for certain things based on the situation, and that's very much a Papers, Please kind of thing. Where does whirring come in?
So, I'm now thinking that at first it's not something major that's actually sort of happening. You as you're working on this, I'm seeing it as like you've got a PC that you use.
Okay.
And you hear a slight whirring in the background.
Okay.
But you start realizing over time as you come up against certain ex-cons, like the whirring sound starts to change depending on the sort of person that it is.
Okay.
I'm actually seeing a conspiracy sort of behind the scenes that they're using different frequencies to sort of try and influence you.
All right. And how does that kind of play out then? Is it just in the things you're being asked to do? Like, do you get sort of instructions each day? It's like because I'm picturing part of this, like, it doesn't have to all be on your PC. Like, you get out from behind the desk and you go to visit, to make your sort of scheduled visit to one of the ex-prisoners.
I'm thinking, yes, you can have this sort of going out and visiting these people. Maybe you don't have the PC with you. You have to take notes as to what your recommendations are for each of these people, so that when you get back at the end of the day, all you've got is like the text.
Yeah, and then you have to like enter it into the computer.
It's not fully entering it in, like, depending on what questions you ask.
Yeah, maybe you get maybe it gives you some multiple choice sort of things around each person.
But there's no photo on the PC. I'm thinking.
Right, you have to like remember. Yeah, you actually have to kind of try to make a connection with these people so that you actually remember their names and yeah.
I don't know.
That could be cool.
I think you could.
Yeah, that could be an interesting exploration of just the politics and the difficulties around people out for parole and how that affects them, and how the sort of power that the parole officer has over them.
So I'm picturing this parole officer like. He's dressed nicely when he goes to these people's places, but
I think you need to be able to.
The place that he lives is like maybe just a dump, and maybe the whirring is actually coming off his fridge. Like you just hear something in each time that you go back to the apartment.
All right.
It's
so there's sort of an aspect of there for the grace of God, like. He has to make his own decisions around his shitty lifestyle and dealing with that, and maybe he's got his own criminal background or something. he or she. I think character customization, as usual, is key. Now I'm just picturing that we give them character customization to the point that, like, do you remember particularly in like the first Dead Rising game where you could just wear whatever you wanted, and then in all these serious cutscenes you'd still have like the big Lego head on? So just picturing this like depressing scene as he or she goes back to their dump of an apartment with the fridge whirring, and they're wearing like disco pants and a big rainbow wig. Yeah. Because you've got to have a bit of fun in your life as a parole officer. Like, come on.
So if you wanted to be, you could dress up like Patch Adams sort of thing, and try to make all the
red nose,
cons laugh.
Doctor's coat,
the doctor's coat and everything.
Yeah, the clown nose. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm seeing that that you could actually have like your bosses are sort of saying, oh, we're not too sure about this guy. We think you should take another look and reconsider. Keeping him out on parole and just having that sort of grey area and
well, and I think even to the point of like, you go to someone's place and you find like that they've been shooting up heroin or something, and they're about to OD, and you literally like save them
only to send them back. Well, to prison.
But you make a decision. You're like, if I take them to the hospital, they're going to be sent to prison, or you can try to like wake them up and save them there and not tell anybody about it, because like from your previous interactions with this person, like what a shitty situation they've been put in. They actually had a good reason for committing whatever crime it was that they did. They were trying to help their family, and now their family's been taken away, and like drugs are the only escape they have from this horrible, horrible life. Yeah, like you've got a choice to be made there, right? Like that's the sort of thing that could be really interesting about a game like this.
Yeah, and now I'm just picturing each day that he goes back and it fills in the form, and just as you're getting to the end of the form, he starts complaining about the whirring of the fridge, and it's just a couple of little comments at the start, and then he starts going a little bit I don't know, just a little bit crazy, and you start getting some weirder cases. Maybe
okay. Taking this in a different direction. All right, go on.
I'm trying not to take it into like a crazy sort of thing.
I mean, I already said that you could wear rainbow fucking wigs, yeah. But
no, when I say crazy, I'm talking about like mental crazy. Like I'm just seeing it that he's starting to read more into it.
So like maybe then it's revealing his own mental illness, and he starts getting paranoid about things, or is he? And is that what's the sort of thing you mean?
No, I'm just
or more just the way it affects him.
Just the way that, like, if you're doing well and you get yourself a new fridge, then everything would be fine. But the only way to do something well, kind of like in the Papers, Please, is to sort of
follow
take bribes and
or just like follow the kind of the line of your bosses, even if that means doing things that seem immoral against the people that you're being put in charge of.
So I don't want to go into mental illness or anything like that.
I find it amusing that like the end goal for that kind of line through the game is a new fridge. It's game over after that.
Well, it's one of those things that the only thing that he really wants in life is to get a good night's sleep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting little kind of metaphor there, that like this fridge is representing, like his mental state in some ways,
or his hopes and dreams
sort of thing. And like the longer you leave it, the louder it gets, and the less sleep you get, but you're also, maybe doing good things for these people.
And maybe he's just not getting depressed as such, but getting, like more and more unhappy with how things are going. But I'm just picturing like you get a cutscene each night of, sort of by day 16, you just
sitting up in
can't
bed.
Sleep at all.
Yeah.
You're sitting up in bed, you've got insomnia.
Watching horrible infomercials.
Yeah. So I'm just picturing, this whirring is driving him insane. He's, trying to put the thing over his ears. But I'm thinking almost if you do get the new fridge, then maybe he has that sort of thing.
It's too quiet.
It's too quiet now.
Now he's alone with his thoughts about all the things, the people he sent back to prison who he did, he doesn't think should have been.
And that's like the melancholic ending.
Yeah.
It's like he was never going to be happy.
Yeah, that's pretty dark.
I don't know.
But I like it.
It's pretty dark.
I think that there's a lot that could be done there. This is one of these
that you go down if you follow along with, all their recommendations, which some of them are.
Exactly. This is what they call a serious game. That's cool. We don't do many of those.
No.
It might.
It's not another Frederick.
If you can wear a rainbow wig, that is going to just take the sting out of that ending a little bit.
But you know what? They won't see it coming.
They won't see it coming, the ending, if you're in the rainbow wig. It's like, what do you mean? The rainbow wig couldn't make you happy? Even after you sent all these people back to prison?
Now I'm seeing with that character customization, you see the final thing of him trying to get some sleep, and then the thoughts start coming into his mind. But the entire cutscene is just being focused on his head, which has this massive Lego brick head.
Yeah, exactly. You're not getting any of the expressions. Or maybe the expressions are transmitted to the Lego brick head. And so he's just like a sad Lego brick.
You know what? I think that about does it for today.
I think that does it for this week. Thanks for joining us on Bitstorm. That's the name of our podcast, right? I think so.
Yes.
If you want to find us in our other episodes and chat to us, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We post all our new episodes there, and occasionally some other little tidbits. Bitstorm Cast on all of those social media platforms.
You can check us out on iTunes, where you can rate, review, and please subscribe.
Cool. We're alternating this week. You can go to our website as well. All our episodes are there, bitstormcast.com. That's pretty much all that's there, but, it's a good way to listen.
Yeah, pretty much. We'd like to thank Kuradust for the song Mad Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
Yeah, it's a good one. We wrote it. Well, no, our friend wrote it, but we played on it. Well, I didn't. Anyway. Jesus.
It's one of the only Kuradust songs that Ben had nothing to do with.
True. We'd like to just put sort of a bit of a shout out to the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network, of which we are part. It's a great little group of other gaming podcasts from the region of Australasia, as you would gather from the name. And, we've made some great friends there and had some good guests on from there. You can hear us on fellow AGPN podcast Reset this week, and they were on our podcast last week. And it's just a really great group. So search for Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook or hashtag AGPN on Twitter.
Now, a little birdie has told me that Podchaser has now gone open beta. So no more keys, just jump on to podchaser.com. Take 20 seconds to register, and then go view all the podcasts. And
all of them. They're all on there.
Give us...
Well, if you find a podcast that's not on there, tell me, because I made that site and I run it. It's a new site for being able to rate and review podcasts. We've got lots of features coming. Find Bitstorm on there, shoot us a rating or review. It's way easier than iTunes. So much easier.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
that's
Apple.
Pretty awesome.
And we'll just mention our Facebook group again, facebook.com/group/Bitstorm. You can find that there, and we'll be putting up a new listener click pitch every week.
It's an open group, so feel free to just come in.
Yep.
Make some
noise.
Make some comments, then join.
That's it. Hang around, chat with us. Cool. So
I'm Trevor Scott.
I'm Ben Slinger. I play that.